everybody. Good morning, or afternoon, I guess. This is Robin with Stamp with Dr. Robin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from sunny San Diego, where it's getting up to like 85 today, if you can believe it. We went straight from winter cold about a week ago to beautiful spring to, I guess it's summer now. So that's San Diego weather. My kids used to say they thought it was pretty easy to be a weather person in San Diego and just stand up there and say sunny and 75 by this afternoon, and then tweak that a little bit. And that's pretty much true. So today I thought I'd walk you through a sneak peek at something from the new annual catalog. If you're a demonstrator, you can order that now. If you want to join, so you can order this stuff, go over to my website, stampwithdrrobin.blogspot.com, or just go on the Stampin' Up! Website. I'd love to be your demonstrator upline for you and walk you through this. But anyway, that's the way to get this stuff today, because most of the stuff is brand new in the annual catalog that if you're a customer, you can start ordering from May 4th. And like I said, there's a few things we're allowed to order. So I did. So this is, I think, going to be my favorite stamp set, or at least one of them in the new catalog. And I've had a lot of fun the last few days playing with it. And I know for a lot of people, they find this kind of intimidating, this Pansy Petals stamp set. Why? Because there's a lot of parts. So we're going to learn how to work through all these lot of parts and get some hints about how to stamp with it. And when you get yours, you can go back and work through this and watch this again. So I'm gonna turn you down here. And I got so caught up in doing this that I didn't really have time to set this up. So I'm hoping you can see everything well today. And if not, we will make some adjustments. But anyway, this is the new Stampin' Up! Catalog. It's so pretty. I don't have this set yet because we weren't allowed to order it yet, but it certainly looks pretty darn beautiful. But the Pansy Petals set that we're going to be working with is on page 29 in here. So go ahead and turn to 29 when you get it. So the first thing you'll notice is the die, which is a photopolymer die set. Oh, I want to show you something. This is new, starting with this catalog, that when you're done with your stamps, you're actually supposed to stick them on the back, and hopefully we'll, be able to find them a little easier that way. The thing that's a little weird is all this is backwards, so it's pretty hard to read. Anyway, so that's something new. And then I think what's even more intimidating is this has got several little parts. And so researching pansies on the internet was quite helpful to kind of see what's going on here. So, and then we've got the Pansy Dies, and there are 21 dies. So you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of little dies to get used to. So, I'm going to walk you through, I think, the stamp set first and then the dies. So when you look at a pansy, if I'd had time to print one out, I would have. Whoops. There's a lot of stuff over here to show you, but instead what I'll show you is one of the cards that I've made so that I can walk you through. I don't know if you can see the Wink of Stella in here, and this is one of our new colors, the Fresh Freesia. Anyway, so when you look at a pansy, it has different components to it. It has these two upper petals and these three lower ones and this kind of beardy looking thing, and I don't know, the center that's probably the reproductive organs. And so there's multiple steps that you can do to stamp this. If you see out here, there's 2 steps for the big petals. There's actually another one that goes in here that I didn't use, and the little center, and then the little bud is also a 2-step, and the leaves are 2-step. You have these big pansies and these little ones that kind of look more like violas than pansies to me, and those are just have one less step. They don't have this big beardy looking thing on there. So so let's look at the stamp. I think I'll leave that here. You can see you've got one. This is the big outline one, the big petal one. You've got another one that goes over that. You've got the beardy looking things, as I call them. There's one. I didn't use that little center one on there. You got this little teeny dot one. And for the little ones, same thing. Big one with the petals, little more detailed one, and they have their own little tiny beardy thing, okay? Then you've got some leaves. You've got two-step leaves. Background, more the veiny overlay, two different kinds of leaves. And you've got various stems. This one holds this little petal thing. And again, two-step. Okay, so that's how those work, and we'll make a card with them so you can actually see a little bit better how they work. Then you've got the Pansy Dies. So the Pansy Dies, I broke them down to, these are the ones for the petals. These are more the leaf things. So for both of them, you have just the outline. So you could, so for like that one I just showed you, I made that all and then I cut it out, okay? The other cool thing about those dies is one of the pieces of paper has all of these, whoops, pansies on them, and you can cut them out. So I cut them out of 2 whole pieces of paper. And that's my other little hint, is there's 2 pieces of this. I thought this side would be much more useful than that side. That one didn't work so well. But actually, I lined up both the pieces of paper together and cut them together. Let me just, and that works completely well. So let me stop for a second and show you that paper. Actually, I think I'm going to show you all the paper, which I did the other day, but let's go through it again. So there's the front and back of that one, front and back of that one. This one's really nice for making some masculine cards or with some of the trees. This is the one I'll come back to that I was talking about. Well, I might as well show you. So there's the front and the back of that one. So what I did to cut these all out, like I said, I put them both together like that. Oops. Then I made strips. So I hand cut like this so that I wouldn't miss any of them. And then I put the whole strip in my machine, lining them up and cutting them out. Now it's really difficult to cut the one right next to it, so you kind of have to stagger it. So as you can see, all the little ones as well as the big ones can get cut out, which is really kind of cool. We're going to be using this paper. You'll notice that several of these have gingham at the back. So we got a gingham fresh freesia, we got a gingham soft succulent, and this one can be cut out with the leaf dies. You can cut out that whole page. Haven't quite done that yet because there's a lot more of them. This is just another beautiful page and another pretty just small print. Love how these go together. I actually bought a ton of this paper, as much as they'd let me buy, because I just thought it was so beautiful, and I've almost used an entire package. So that tells you how much I'm enjoying it. All right, so that's these big ones. So then you have, let me show you what this looked like cut out. So you have this one. I don't know if you can see it. It cuts it in and embosses it. You have this one that is like an outline. You have this one, which is for the upper petals. And again, it cuts it and embosses it. I don't know, can you see what I'm doing over here? Let's move it. You have this one that cuts these little top things that actually go on these little petals. Like that, okay? you have the two for the little, this cuts out a bud if you stamp it. This cuts a little two-piece bud that fits together like that. Okay. This cuts the little centers. Okay. That's exactly the right size for a mini glue dot, thankfully. So that, oh, and the little beard thing. So that's your little beard thing. Okay, and then the leaves. So these again, well, maybe I'll put them up here, but these three cut out stuff that you've stamped. This cuts out something for your little bud. Okay. And then there's two size leaves, and each one has a little veiny thing that goes on top. So this is the big one. Okay. And this is the little one. Same idea. So here's my hint about figuring this out, which wasn't hard. Once you cut them out, you could easily see how these go. Which is when you get something like this that has a million different dies, what I like to do is I just cut out all of these in some sort of green and play with it. And usually what I'll do is I'll cut out, you know, 2 or 3 different colors of green and see what I like best. And the same thing with these ones, where you kind of look at these and go, I don't even get how this fits together. So I can just show you, you know, here's one that I cut out with, I think this was white, and I just use a little bit of the pink to make it a little bit darker. This is the one we're actually gonna make this same one today with the Fresh Freesia, Blackberry Bliss, the white. And I think this was the pale papaya, actually. So that's how I kind of approach things that look like there could be overwhelming. So then what I did yesterday, had fun with this, is I looked up pictures of pansies and found they come in more colors than I had ever imagined. And so I just started playing with different colors, and I actually did this on a piece of copy paper, and when I liked it, I put, you know, I didn't do it again if I didn't like it, but if I liked it, I put it on this page, and then I wrote down what I did. And I found a lot of these petal parts in the back looked really good if you used a lighter color and a darker color, and the easiest way to do that was to actually take the lighter color, stamp it off, and then use the darker color for that second stamp. And then they all seem to have something more dark on these beardy things in the middle, and I played with different yellows for the dots. So that's Mango Melody, that's Bumblebee, that's Daffodil Delight. It seemed to kind of depend on which colors I was using, which I liked better. And then I started playing with the pinks and reds. I saw this one I couldn't quite get, but it was really, really dark red. Didn't get around to playing with the real red yet, but I will at some point. So I also found I liked, so this is some that I left with some white in here and didn't use all 4 stamps. So this is the outside one and the inside one. I kind of liked it. It's like your eye needs a little rest. Like that looks a little busy with all of them. So I kind of like leaving a little bit of white there. Or if I wasn't leaving white, this is like a stamped off balmy blue so that it's more light. Like this is stamped off Blackberry Bliss and then the dark Blackberry Bliss, and that's kind of intense, but because these are lighter, it kind of works. So I played with different ways to do the centers, you know, doubling it up, using just the outside one, using just the inside one, just to get a feel for it. I really like some of these blue ones though. Look at that one, Pacific Point stamped off, Pacific Point, Night of Navy, Daffodil Delight. And so I'll take a picture of these and put them on my blog either today or tomorrow, whenever I seem to get enough. So we're gonna play with both, make a card with the using just the die cuts like I have here, and then we'll make a card using the stamps. So let's do the die cuts, and then, you know, the card that I didn't show is obviously, this is even easier if you use these, you know, ones that are cut because they're all ready for you. But now we can't do the easy way. So this is one of the first cards I made. Like I said, I cut out these in various colors, all these different things, and just put together what I thought seemed like fun. And so we're going to make it in a different color set. But one thing I want to point out is these dies that I used to cut the pansy paper. And these are the, oh, let's get the name right, Scallop contour dies. And if you buy only one thing in the catalog, I would say buy these, because these are going to give a good run for the money for the other dies from that are carrying over the sweet, oh gosh, I can't believe I can't remember what they are. But you guys know they're rectangular and have some scallopies on them. But look at that, you got the scallop for the edge. This cuts out something from the color and contour stamp set that goes with it. But it's these dies that are really cool. So they've got one like that I didn't use. They've got this center one, which is great for sentiments. This one here, this next one, actually cuts little slits, so you can put some paper underneath there or ribbon or something like that. And so we're going to use two of these today, the one like that and the one like that, the big one. All right, so here's our inspiration, but we're going to make it in these colors. So we're going to start with a piece of the soft succulent cardstock. Still having trouble with learning these new colors. I think I forgot to do an inside piece, but you'll need an inside piece so that people can write on here. Okay, and then we've got that paper that has the gingham on one side. So we'll put that down. Hey Brenda, hi Lori, hey Lisa. Looks like you read my email, Lisa, about my paper share. And anybody else who's interested in a paper share, I got a paper share going. I got to put some of that up so that you all know about it. And then, whoops, that's not the one we're using. Get that out of there. That's the big one. That's the size we're using. But before we do that, we're going to take a piece of this gorgeous fresh freesia ribbon, and we're just going to put that underneath. Kind of just right in the middle. We'll get our, if I can grab it, our Stampin' Seal Plus, because that'll hold anything down. So since this is all going to be, you know, covered up, I'm just going to make a couple like this. That looks good. And then we'll put this aside while we build our flower. So here's all our little pieces for our flower, and I'm just going to use glue to stick them together because I think that's easiest. So first thing I'm going to do, I have no idea what this little piece of this is called. Another thing that you could do here is you could take your fresh freesia and just put a little bit on the edge and make that a little bit darker. That would be really nice looking too. But since our goal here is to show everybody all these little cuttings, and like I said, just cut, you know, figure out what colors you like together. Use the, you know, use the catalog and the paper as a guide of what goes together. Or like I did, I kind of just went and Googled pansy pictures. Okay, let's put this one on. Which side do I want? I want that side. Don't want too much glue. The other way you can put the glue on is get your silicone mat, put a blob of glue on that, and use a little cut up piece of sponge. That can be really helpful too. And see how that all just lines up? Again, I like the bit of white in here just to give your eyes kind of something to rest on. Okay, and then let's put our little beardy thing on, and then we'll put this together. Oops. And then it fits just perfectly in here, leaving a little space. And you notice I haven't used any dimensionals yet, but you got a little space left here for our center. So I'm going to put these two together first. See how that looks. Perfect. And then get a little glue down here. Whoops. And you see how these just perfectly touch on the sides there? That looks good. All right, now let's do our little bud. Hey, bud. I think one of these I made the dark part on the outside, and one of these I made the dark part on the inside, and haven't decided yet which looks better. Then we'll put our, this is the new evening evergreen. Isn't it pretty? I mean, who would have thought we needed another green, right? Okay, so that didn't go well, so let's move it down just a tad. There we go. We want it to cover the bottom of that. And now I think I'm going to use one big and one little leaf set. And you can, you know, play with which you like better. I haven't quite decided yet. Again, this is the opposite of how I did the leaves on the other. On the other one, I put this evening evergreen on the bottom and the soft succulent on top. And on this one, I'm doing the opposite because, like I said, you know, poetic license maybe, that we get to do it how we want to do it. So there we go. And we got some leaves done. Obviously, I cut all this stuff ahead of time because I didn't think you really wanted to watch me cut everything. But the nice thing about all these little things is that they can all be cut on your little mini Stampin' Embossing thing. So remember I said this little thing just fits perfectly on a mini glue dot. But I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that or I'm going to use some gems like I did on the other one, so we'll just wait on that. All right, so let's put them on here. So I'm going to glue these two down, and then I'm going to raise this up on dimensionals. We'll glue that one down also. So pretty. And we'll get some dimensionals on here. Can't make a card without dimensionals, right? At least I can't. I always have a bunch of extras of these sitting around because I think I don't know, if I ran out, that might be a crisis. Might mean I actually have to take a trip to the M store and not do Stampin' Up stuff, but luckily I think ahead. All right, so let's put some on here too, because we're not done with dimensionals. Hey Peggy. Peggy knows my upline, and she also was one of the ones saying, there's too many little pieces to this thing. How are we supposed to know what goes with what? How you know is you just play with it. That's how you know. All right, so I need your help, guys. Let's take a vote here. We've got some new Genial Gems, and we got some new in color jewels. Oh, I'm thinking we might need to use the in color jewels. Anybody have a preference here? Look at these gems. Remember the ones that were gold and red that we had before? So these are now green. I think they said this is supposed to be mint macaron, and can't remember what other color does it say on here. Of course not. And then the Genial Gem, and then the in color ones. Oh yeah, let's go with those. So do we want to put one of these in there? No, let's use our little thing that goes in here. Now, when you look up all this stuff, you see that this is kind of shaped like a triangle in most of it, and the pointy part goes on the top, and it fits just right in there. So, pink, pale papaya. Well, let's use some pale papaya ones. I do not know where my take a pick tool is, so we're gonna have to just what do you think? Pretty and sparkly. Okay, so who's ready to stamp? All right, so let us stamp. We're gonna make just a simple stamping card. Now remember, this is photopolymer, so I'm gonna stick my mat underneath here. I'm hiding it from you because it's really dirty. And remember I said we're gonna do some that are stamped off and then some that are full strength. And what I did is I did my pansies first, and then I went back and did the little stems. Pansies were drying. So let's start with the large pansy. So this is the large pansy kind of filled in, and that one we are going to stamp off because we want it kind of light, and then stamp on here. Okay, then we're going to take the next one, which is the more detailed one, using the same fresh freesia. You're going to line up, just look around the edges. Okay, so you're going to line up. And guess what? It's pretty forgiving if you don't get it quite perfect. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so next is, I think I'm gonna make the other little beardy thing. So we got two little beardy things. And remember I said I like having a little bit of white. So I think this time, instead of using the big one, we'll use the little one. And I'm gonna use it in the rich razzleberry. Just right at the top. And we'll come back and do the little centers. So let's go now to the little baby ones. So on the little baby ones, we again have this one, and I'm going to do it kind of full strength here. And then I'm going to get my rich razzleberry back again and stamp the more detailed one. Again, line up, you got like a one thing down here and two humps of the petals on top. So kind of line them up like that. Oh, got a little smush there. I'll live. Okay. And this, because this, you know, kind of, we don't want it to overlap here, I am going to do that stem before I do my last bit of flowers. This is called, you're using like all your blocks on this one thing here. So some of them are doubled up a little bit. So here is the more solid in the fresh freesia. And then the other side is in the rich razzleberry for the more detailed part. All right, I think we're done with those colors, so let's make some stems and leaves. So since we've got our evening evergreen out here and our leaves, our stems, so you notice, I don't know if you look real closely, you can see I didn't use that other one that has the two coming out because I just thought I'd like it better if I could just do my own thing. So you just kind of line it up, overlap it a little bit, and that'll work. And then we got the little ones coming in. And then we're going to get, oh, I forgot the beardy things on here. Nobody stopped me. Let's go back with our rich razzleberry. And this, remember, has its own little beardy thing. Because they're smaller. They're smaller little beards. I really think that's what it's called. I'm having trouble seeing the hole in here because of the light. All right. So except where I did that little smush, I'm still in my head trying to figure out what we can do for that smush here. Does everybody know this little hint? Once you've opened and closed your stamp inky pads a little bit, if you just push on the back like that, it pops open and you don't have to get your fingers all inky. So I'm just using one of the leaves this time. And this is in the soft succulent. You know, like I said, there's two leaves, but and then turn it over and lo and behold, here's my little veiny part. And it's kind of a distinctive stamp, so it's really giving you a lot of layers. But it is, like I said, it is pretty forgiving. Isn't that cool? And then let's take our happy birthday. And see if we can get it sort of straight on there. Of course, if you really want it straight, you go for your Stamparatus. But there you go. So I'm not gonna put the rest of it together because I'm pretty sure you know how to do that. And what I did is I took the Tasteful Textures, oh, I forgot my little ground, my Tasteful Texture embossing folder, because I thought that would give it a little bit of dimension too. And I took a light seafoam, and I thought maybe, you know, giving it a little dirt, grass, something to kind of ground it a little bit would be nice. That'll dry a little bit lighter. So there you have it. So we've got the card just using, oh, wait. Oh, my poor little, I'm so afraid I'm gonna lose this little teeny center thing. Let's go with some, what did I pull out? So saffron's a little too light. Let's go with some Daffodil Delight. See how it pops that open like that? Because we need some centers here. Again, pointy part on the top. Just fits in there perfectly, whether you're using the big one or the small one. And now we've used almost every single one of these. And it's pretty forgiving, except when you put it down and pick it up and move it. So we've got that one. We've got one just using the dies. We've got another one with just using the dies in a different color. This one where I use the dies as well as the ink pads. We've got different, you know, different colors that you can use. We've got the ones that came from the paper. And oh, I forgot to show you one other thing that comes in this set, which is these adorable little bees, these little gold bees that are part of the set. Won't that be cute? I think I'll put one on a couple of these cards. But there we have it. That is our Pansy Petals, or Pansy Patch is the stamp set, but Pansy Petals is the name of the whole suite. And I think it's just beautiful. I think everybody should own it. And when you get it, you can just, I'm gonna pull you back up here. When you get it, you can just come back here and say, how am I supposed to use all those little pieces? Oh yeah, I remember Stamp with Dr. Robin had that, so let's get back to it. So if you're interested in any paper shares, I'll post some of that on here also, and I'll put some of the dimensions and pictures of these cards over on my blog, Stamp with Dr. Robin at blogspot.com. And I think that's it for today. Oh, I know there was one more thing. Hold on. I wanted to show you, I guess I'll hold it up. This is my class for next month for May, which is going to be using the seashells set as well as a couple older retired sets, but we're going to use the pearlized paper. Whoops, there we go. And we're going to learn how to make pearlized paper so that you can have pearlized paper in whatever color you want. So this is going to be, what did we decide, ladies? I believe we decided Sunday, May 23rd. So let me know if you're in San Diego and you want to make this 12 by 12 framed art. So lots of different things you can do with your stamps. It's not just for cards. So take care, everybody. Hope you learned something. Bye-bye.